We stand at the midpoint of the year of Vacilando, a natural moment where the rush of the beginning has settled and the horizon of the end still distant. It comes at the beginning of term 3, notorious amongst educators and leaders alike. It's time for reflection. Today, we're stepping into and out of the immediacy of day to day lives to explore a map of leadership, not as a blueprint of roles and responsibilities, but as a living, breathing structure, a family tree. My name is Michael Murphy, and this is episode 10 of Vacilando. We're going to explore the school and the role of principalship through the analogy of a family. But to truly grasp the weight and meaning of this comparison, I want to take you there first. To a house on a street in a town that feels like it's held its breath for maybe a century. Let's spend a day in the house with the women who are at its heart, its bones, and its conscience. The town isn't so much a place where you arrive, it's one that slowly surrounds you. Old brick storefronts wear their faded lettering like cherished memories. The plane trees lining the streets have roots that have patiently buckled the pavement over decades. The street doesn't have a name, but it's the kind of street where the houses exhale stories. On it sits a home that's a character in itself. It has a deep, shaded porch where generations have weathered summer storms, and a garden that tumbles with unruly citrus and herbs that seed themselves with wild abandon. The first sign of life is a slither of light under a bedroom door. This is Alara's world, a new mother and a biologist on leave. Her universe has contracted to the four walls of the nursery, her days measured in feeds and sleep cycles, her body a constant living metronome for another. As she lifts her baby, Kai, from his crib, the scent of milk and warm linen fills the air. Her focus is attuned to the subtle shifts in Kai's breathing. The tiny curl of his fist brings a warm smile to her face. She moves with a quiet, practiced grace, her own needs, for sleep and solitude, a faint, humming bass line beneath the powerful, immediate melody of the child. Her love is fierce and utterly present, with the love for the immediate, the tangible, the now. Downstairs, the house begins to stir. Kiran, who's Alara's sister, is dressed in sharp, dark trousers and a silk blouse. She's an island of composed energy in the gentle morning chaos. Her case, leaning against the leg of a kitchen table, is filled with architectural plans and city council submissions. She's a partner at her firm, a builder of futures, yet her morning is a delicate negotiation of the present. Her teenage son, Lian, who seems to have grown a foot overnight, has just discovered a coffee stain on the sleeve of the only blazer he will dare wear. Lian, we laid this out last night. We've got a system for a reason, says Kiran. I know, it just happened. Can you fix it? Can you fix it? The eternal question. Kiran's role is a constant state of dual consciousness. One part of her mind is already in the city, defending a controversial design to a skeptical committee, anticipating arguments and marshalling her facts. The other part is here, dabbing some soda water on a coffee stain. Her hands, which will later gesture towards skylines and structural beams, now perform this small, intimate act of care. She's expected to inhabit both roles with equal authority. A visionary architect and a domestic problem solver. She's the load-bearing wall of her family's daily life. And watching from a worn armchair in a sunlit corner is Amara, the matriarch. She's Alara and Kieran's grandmother, and the woman who raised them in this very house. Her hands are resting on smooth wooden arms of the chair. They're mapped with stories of a lifetime. She doesn't intervene with the blazer crisis, nor today does she rush to help with Alara with the crying baby. Her involvement is not always in the doing, but in the seeing. She observes the faint tremor of exhaustion in Alara's hand as she pours her coffee. She notes the tight line of Kieran's jaw and understands that it's not about the blazer, but it's about the weight of the day ahead. Later, when Kieran was left and the morning's frantic energy has subsided, Amara will wordlessly take Kai from Alara's arms, her touch a silent acknowledgement that says, Rest. I see you. Her power is not in control but in influence. She is the foundation with which the house stands. The failures and success of the family, any cracks in its structure, are a reflection of her life's work. Those successes are its enduring strength. They're her silent, most profound legacy. She is at the mercy of their choices, yet in many ways she is the reason that they're strong enough to make them. Let us hold the image of that house, the feeling of its rooms, and the presence of the women within it as we turn back to our schools. As we reflect on this year, I want to use that architecture of family to understand how I'm now perceiving that principalship. Like Alara, whose world has become a beautiful, intense orbit of her child, the classroom teacher lives in the immediate. It's a role that I've had for many years. The focus is on a powerful, concentrated beam of the students in front of us. The day is a tapestry woven in small, vital threads. The breakthrough of a struggling student, the shared laughter of a story, or the patient explanation of a concept for the third time. Teachers are fluent in the language of non-verbal cues, the slump of a shoulder, the flash of an understanding eye. A teacher's love for their work is fierce and present and personal. The success of a teacher is so often measured in the intellectual and emotional nourishment of the children in their care, right here and right now. Our middle leaders, again a role that I've held, are the Kirans of the world. They're the architects of curriculum and the managers of teams. They seem to live in a state of dual consciousness. Middle leaders have their own classrooms, their own students to nurture, their own blazers to metaphorically mend. They're still practitioners, their hands still shaping the raw material of learning. Yet, they're also expected to step back to see the larger structure. They lead teams and mentor colleagues, they analyze data, they communicate with parents, it just goes on. They stand with one foot in the classroom and one in the strategic heart of the school. They must be both artist and engineer, empathetic and analytical. The mid-year point where we stand now has them reviewing the blueprints of their department's goals while simultaneously grading the stack of papers from their own Year 9 class. They bear the load of their own work and the work of the team. Then we've got our executive leadership. They're those deputy principals, maybe heads of school. We see the relationship shift again, much like a parent of a near adult child. They're no longer in the room for every lesson, for every small drama. They must trust the professionalism and judgment of their middle leaders and teachers. Their role to create systems and culture that allows others to do their best work. They step in when the stakes are high for complex student welfare cases, significant staffing decisions, or long-term strategic planning. They're the ones who must defend the school's decisions to the wider community. They may have surrendered the immediate hands-on control of the classroom, but they retain the ultimate accountability for the success and safety of their part of the school. They are building the scaffolding that allows the structure to grow taller and stronger. But this is where I think the analogy is maybe broken down. Where I was expecting to say that the principal is like the matriarch of the family who wears that ultimate responsibility for the successes and failures, but no longer has their hand in the immediacy of the day, I just don't see it. What I see now is someone who is in many ways the parent of a newborn, who has that immediate responsibility and associated sleep deprivation. They're also the working parent of a child as they balance a need for their kids to develop responsibility. They've also been called on to solve issues and maintain their own profession. Then there's still the sleep deprivation. They're also the parents of near adult kids. They're still ever present when called on, but expected to allow the space for responsibility to grow. The principal seems to fill every role in the family tree rather than holding any role specifically. I think this is where the lack of sustainability is coming through the most. Ideally, I think, the principal holds the role of a parent of kids who have entered adulthood. They still care deeply, and they may indeed be kept up late at night with big decisions and big worries, but there's no longer a direct responsibility for the day-to-day, that minutiae. As I think about my relationship with my parents, we don't see each other every day, but that doesn't mean our relationship is less meaningful and less important. Principals often get a bad rap for not being as present and connected to the classroom, but I don't think that's fair after this Vacilando together. The role is different. I've been thinking about how, as we get older, our relationships within families change and evolve, but principals are expected to retain every role on the family tree. I'm really excited to see how the roles change and evolve over the course of the second half of the year, and I want to take a moment to thank you for being one of the thousands of Vacilando listeners. It means so much to me. It'd be wonderful if you could share the project with your friends and keep listening as we take our next steps with Paul, Julie, Jess, and Luke. My name is Michael Murphy, and this has been episode 10 of Vacilando.